Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the greatest and #1 crypto community in all the interwebs. My name is TJ, and I'll be your host for today's episode of Around the Blockchain. Every weekday, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we come to you live with our favorite people and personalities from around the interwebs to discuss the trending crypto topics of the day, as well as your most asked questions. We got some really good guests lined up for you guys today. We're going to be joined again by crowd favorite CryptoJebb, as well as Mitch Sanders in the house today. We're going to have Aaron from Altcoin Daily joining us in the bottom left-hand corner there, and as well as Ben Armstrong, bat and cleanup, bringing down the house, ready to talk about some Bitcoin short squeeze going on. We've got a major Cardano upgrade coming up next, and the Cuban Missile Crisis. Marc Cuban got rug pulled. Got been some fun memes. He's learning a little bit about this crypto world. Thought he was in a whole new world. Pretending to do his best Aladdin impression, and all of a sudden his magic carpet got pulled on him. So he's just another crypto bro with us on Twitter now, just saying WTF, what happened to this liquidity. But we're going to get into that a little bit. We're going to talk about that towards the end of the show. But real quick, just wanted to do a quick market watch, jump in with you guys. But before we get to any of that, so I don't forget, like I always do, if you see in the bottom right-hand corner of our guest boxes, they've got score boxes there. So if you like anything any of these guests say while we're going, drop a +1 in the chat. I'll know to give them a point. And if you don't like what they're saying, you can drop a -1, and we'll take one away. Whoever has the most points at the end of the show will have 30 seconds to give a parting message to the audience. So before we get into all these topics, let's do a quick market watch. We've got Bitcoin coming in at 37,600 now, so down on the day. We're starting to see some bearish action, a lot of shorts being created. But real quick, Jebb, what are you looking at on the charts?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up my screen if you guys don't mind, and I'm going to show really quickly that what I am paying attention to on Bitcoin is the 20 exponential moving average. There's some news about the shorts that I want to bring up, and I think we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. But really briefly, for any of my technical analysts out there, or even if you're not a technical analyst, I first want to show you this moving average right here. This is the 20 daily exponential moving average. Some people look at the 21 daily exponential moving average. They both show you roughly the same thing. This is a critical moving average for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin currently is sitting just above this moving average. You can see whenever we're in a bull market or a major rally, we're above this level. Right now, we're sitting on top of it, and we just broke out of it about 4 or 5 days ago. That is a good sign. We want to see Bitcoin holding above $38,000, and if it does so, that will be a confirmed break to the upside, which means we will be confirming an uptrend. Another thing that I'm looking at here is that over the last couple of weeks, we have seen Bitcoin shorts rally on Bitfinex from 3,000% over the span of 2 weeks to 25,000. There's a massive number of shorts on exchange right now, and there have been for the last couple of weeks. This isn't just showing up on Bitfinex, it's showing up on a plethora of different markets, and I personally believe, based on all the technical analysis that I do over on my channel, that a lot of these shorts are going to get liquidated if Bitcoin rallies very far at all, and if that were to occur, it could very easily lead into a short squeeze, which would result in a major increase in Bitcoin's price action. So that's my current take on that.
Yeah, a major increase in the price action, and very quickly at that. So, Mitch, we were talking a little bit before the show about the dreaded death cross. We've heard a lot of people referencing that over the last few days. It looks like that's going to occur. That's where the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages cross over each other. We were looking at it yesterday, and somebody in the chat was pointing out that, yeah, just because that happens doesn't mean we go down every single time. We've actually had several times we broke up after that. So what's your take on that? Is that something you're watching? Is it something you're concerned about if it does occur?
Yeah, it's something I definitely don't want to see happen, but the reality is we need to move the BTC price up $3,000 a day for the next 7 days to over $50,000 in order to not break it. So it's looking like it's going to hit around the 22nd, 23rd, 24th of June. But like you said, there has been multiple examples of us actually hitting it and still breaking to the upside. So I'm still positive. I think the shorts are there purely because of the death cross, and I'm just like fingers crossed and hoping that they get wrecked and it just propels us up. But we know that the market doesn't care about us, it doesn't care about my feelings, it doesn't care about my thoughts. So it's anyone's game in the next few days, but it's going to be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, no, that's what makes Bitcoin fun. Is it's always entertaining, it's always interesting to watch. We keeps us coming back here every day, seeing what it's going to do next. So, Aaron, what is it you're looking at with Bitcoin? Are you expecting this short squeeze? Are you seeing anything? I know you guys do a lot of digging in Glassnode and some of those kind of analytical and on-chain metrics. What is it you see with some of these shorts, or do you think this is something that will play out in the next few weeks?
Speaking of entertaining and interesting to watch, great to be here, everybody. Big fan of BitBoy, big fan of the whole family. You guys are doing it great over here.
Great to have you back.
Hey, thanks. Let me share my screen real quick. I wasn't going to do this. This is something on the fly.
We like it on the fly.
Bear
Let's
with
go.
me.
Yeah, no rush.
Oh, Aaron, yeah.
Like it.
Hell yeah.
Spontaneous is the best kind of fun. So,
Can you see this tweet?
yes, we can.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Great tweet.
Yep.
Listen, I'm less concerned with the price day to day. That's that's CryptoJebb's strength. That's a lot of your guys' strength. I like to look at the big picture. And how is Bitcoin different today than it was last year or the year before? And obviously, you can see that year after year, it has been called a scam or a failure. Year after year, it has got fundamentally stronger. And still, where we're sitting today, people are still writing it off. So, this cycle compared to other cycles, just so much more bullish than it's ever been. And I'm a long-term bull still.
Love it. No, that's great. I mean, and the long-term approach really is
for sharing
what.
that.
Yeah, that really is what makes a huge difference. And zoom out, and we've talked about it all the time. Be in this market for 4 or 5 years. If you treat this like you treat any traditional investment as a long-term investment over time, it should bear out well, as long as you're not chasing pumps like Shiba Inu listed on Coinbase and all that kind of stuff. So that was one thing we forgot to mention. It got listed yesterday, had a huge pump, and it's definitely pulled back a little bit there. We still have people in there saying, you'll regret not owning it, but, to each their
Here's
own.
the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about short squeezing, especially with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is, obviously, we all know, capped supply, fixed supply flow. It's narrative. It's known to be very, very scarce, one of the scarcest things in the world. And a short squeeze is something that happens basically when a lot of people are shorting and the short doesn't go through, so the price goes higher, then they have to buy back at a higher price, sending the market even higher. And whether that's going to happen now or not, I'm not sure, but I think generally speaking, that happens every single cycle. That's usually how the cycle ends, or like the mini tops throughout the cycle. So it's very common for Bitcoin because they can't increase the supply flow like they can with gold or any other commodity. Plus, I don't know when the last time you looked at on-chain analytics for who's actually holding the liquid or illiquid Bitcoin, but according to Glassnode, about 85% of people holding Bitcoin of the circulating supply are long-term holders who don't have a history of selling. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a short squeeze.
Yeah. Well, that's actually something I was going to ask you. Go ahead, Mitch.
Oh, sorry,
No.
TJ. We've
No,
got
you're
a couple
fine.
of second delay. I'm literally coming from the island.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing to think about is, you said you've got 85% of Bitcoin is illiquid. We've got 15% that's liquid. The market's actually very, very small. And unlike traditional markets, like if you're trading an Apple stock, for example, there's a small amount that are retail investors, like 2, 3, 5%, that is hodlers that aren't affecting the market, but the majority is a liquid market. So we were looking at the data yesterday, and the whole concept of hodl is fantastic, but it means that there's a lot of coins that are not actually at the forefront of the battlefield, fighting for price. They're literally sitting on the sideline. So what this means is we have, Bitcoin's a $750 billion market cap. There's about $100 billion in daily volume. In order for someone with a huge amount of clout to move the market, to move Bitcoin up $10,000, they'd only need between 500 million and $1 billion, which is a huge amount of money. But in the size of the market, it's a drop in the bucket. So there's this whole concept of hodling and having all these coins in cold storage is fantastic, but it makes the market so susceptible to manipulation and price movement because there's just so much liquidity just not here, just not even close to being on exchanges. And then you add distributed exchanges worldwide and different positions and different amounts of Bitcoin across them, you're distributing this liquidity even wider, which is what decentralization is. But coming back to the traditional markets, it's very, very different. We don't have a lot of liquidity to what a traditional stock on New York Stock Exchange would have. So I thought that was really interesting as well.
No, that's a great point. There's a big difference between the kind of the active Bitcoin that's changing hands and flowing back and forth and the passive stuff that's locked away and being held for a long time. And as I think Aaron mentioned, we are seeing a lot of this a lot of this Bitcoin being held by long-term holders that have been in this game for a long time and they understand how it works. So, Ben, that was where I was going to take this with you. But before I get to this question, I do have Nick Tanner's in the chat. He's been bringing this up a few different times. He was saying that tension with you and CryptoFace yesterday was so perfect. And I know you said you wouldn't. I know you said you wouldn't box Justin this morning, but he's asking, can we get a BitBoy versus CryptoFace boxing match? Is that something you would ever entertain?
Look,
listen.
What happened?
I love CryptoFace, but I would crush him. He has to know that. I'm way out of his weight. I mean, to be fair,
weight class.
Way out of his weight class. So he's a little bit younger, might be a little faster, but CryptoFace. I mean, he's got to know. Well, the good news for him is like until he does a face reveal, like after he's done, like the bruises will be hidden stuff, so it'll be cool.
No, that's fair. No, but back to the subject we're talking about, these Bitcoin short squeezes. Yeah. We've been looking a lot at this volume. Who's been accumulating it? These whales moving stuff back and forth. Now we're kind of the mindset that this is designed to push retail traders out. This would also be kind of the design that would make a lot of retail traders that are maybe just starting to do leverage trading. The markets are like the charts, if you just purely looking at the charts, are starting to look bearish, starting to trend bearish, which is what gets them to open up these shorts, which we've seen in the last week or so, the shorts going through the roof. And then as everybody else mentioned, it doesn't take that much Bitcoin to come in, do that short squeeze, liquidate all of those, and send the price soaring even more. And then, again, those same retail people have to come back in and buy at a higher price, as Mitch mentioned. So do you think that's the whole play here?
One more thing on that. TJ, there's a little bit of a delay. So addresses that hold between 100 and 10,000 BTC in the last 25 days have accumulated around 90,000 BTC. So these addresses, these people who are squeezing the market, who are manipulating the market, are definitely accumulating. So, and this comes back to the narrative that I've been following, and that is, right now what's going on is there's institutions, there's people that want to get Bitcoin much, much cheaper than $60,000+, and they've, formulated a plan and they've executed it very, very well, and it's caused a lot of fear to happen in the market. So, yeah, there's a lot going on.
There you go. So, Ben, did you have anything you wanted to add on the short squeeze, or kind of what you're seeing here with the whales and all this kind of back and forth?
Yeah, I would like to go back to fighting CryptoFace.
Okay.
No, I'll talk about that. I just wanted everybody to be clear. Me and CryptoFace is totally good. I mean, there was no, as soon as the show was over,
you killed the drama.
Tension.
Yeah, no, the tension, it wasn't any real tension. It was just, differences of opinion.
I mean, look, we strongly, the interesting thing is I don't actually think we disagreed that much.
Right.
But, it's basically like, the disagreement was he basically says that people give Elon like way too much credit, and what he's doing is like has no relevance to the market. But when you look at the moments of those tweets, it literally exactly is the time the market is massively moving. So I'm of the opinion now, I very strongly believe that Elon Musk is in.
Uh-oh.
Lost audio.
We lost your audio again.
I think CryptoFace has something to do with that.
I think he was swearing.
CryptoFace DDoS you. Lost feed too.
Yeah. Some CryptoFace is hacking you right now. He's battling back.
He's not happy.
That was Muskrat.
There you go.
That.
Your audio's back.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Muskrat was the one that disconnected me, obviously, because I was talking about him. There's obviously a connection between the time that he tweets and the market moving. CryptoFace says that there's no relevance. My argument is I have seen stuff. I believe now that firmly that he is working with the banks, with the hedge funds, with the big money, with the manipulators, and he is serving as a smokescreen. So we were kind of saying the same thing. I no longer believe it all has to do with the actual movement of the market. The big money, these banks, Pantera Capital, JP Morgan, all of these big banks, they are using him, and he's working with them as a smokescreen to hide these gigantic whale moves that they're using to move this market. I'm seeing a lot of proof of this too, which I can't even reveal stuff. Yeah. But and this kind of goes back to the whole thing of what we're talking about here with these short squeezes. I am like starting to sit here and wonder. Like I'm sitting here thinking, like, what is the day of that death cross? Potentially on the 24th, right? When is the day that the futures
before
expire? The 25th, right? Everything's looking so bearish right now that it just seems like this may be the time that maybe it goes the opposite direction. So something to watch for that a lot of people are kind of like, look, what was it, the bloody weekend where we all expected Memorial Day weekend. We had the extra day off trading, I moved some altcoins over, like people didn't like that. We were trying to do what was smart. And then what happened? Everybody was thinking it was going that direction, and then it didn't. It actually went up. So, in my opinion, like this might be shaping up to be another one of those.
Anything so that it moves.
Well, I sell some altcoins. I'll sell some altcoins any day of the week. So
yeah. Well, speaking of altcoins, we've got kind of one of the most talked about altcoins outside of Ethereum, Cardano, back in the headlines today with one of probably the biggest major upgrades. Their Alonzo 2.0 testnet. They've got smart contracts launched on there. We got Charles with the hawk on his shoulder in the corner. That's awesome. Just poking in here to see what we're talking about. So Charles is real happy. He's they're on what they're calling a 30, 60, 90-day plan to roll all these out through the different test nets and move from Alonzo blue to Alonzo purple and white and red, white, and blue and all the different colors. I don't know I can't keep up with them all, but they're rolling through on a 30, 60, 90-day plan right now to be implementing these smart contracts. So if everything we're talking about is, say that does play out, we see a short squeeze, we see the price action move up. Do you think this is, and I'll start with you, Ben, on this, do you think this is timed to be in the middle of what they expect to be a very bullish time, or do you think it's just coincidence?
Well, let's look back at the history of Cardano. And, I said for a long time, and I even asked him about this, and he strongly denied it, which I don't think he's a liar. I just don't think I don't know. It's a marketing strategy. I don't know. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe my thought on it is totally wrong. But I've said for a long time that it seemed like that roadmap was so slow unintentionally. And it was like, this is going to be during the best part of the bull run, or it's going to launch and it's going to be out before Bitcoin goes bullish. This was back in 2018. Well, what happened? They delayed the roadmap. And when did they finally launch their mainnet? I mean, that was back, I believe, in June of 2020, right after the halving. Right after the halving. Cardano earlier this year, everything's looking like it's on track. Really excited. Alonzo. Market crash. Now we're delayed until the fall.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, either Charles is crazy as a fox, or Cardano could be the luckiest project in the history of mankind. You figure out which one you think it is.
There you go. And real quick, guys, we've got about 5,500 people here, about 900 likes. So if you guys could help us by smashing that like button, helps get this word out, gets more people on YouTube learning about crypto assets and educating themselves and hopefully setting themselves up for a better financial future. But Aaron, I wanted to bring this one to you on Cardano with a lot of this staking and all these pools getting into effect. I don't know. I think you guys are fans of Cardano. Do you do any kind of staking, take part in any kind of staking with Cardano?
We do not. That would be cool to do. I just personally don't do it. I'm just a fan of the cryptocurrency market in general, and I like talking about the most interesting things in the space. But much like BitBoy, I don't marry my altcoins,
Yeah.
And that's something else I love about BitBoy, man. He's always thinking about what's going on behind the curtain, whether it's Elon or Charles or whatever. And full disclosure, I'm only on hour 6 of the Lex Fridman podcast, so maybe I don't know all the details. But like regarding
only hour 6,
basically. Yeah. Regarding what they're doing, rolling out smart contracts on the testnet, like you said, they're going Alonzo blue, then white, then purple, then red, then black. And I personally, speaking to the strength of the marketing, I think we can definitively say they're the most progressive blockchain project because they're the only ones I see doing anything for June Pride Month.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And, other than that, I think people price Cardano as if it's already working, as if it's already. People like to think of it as if as soon as smart contracts launch and the ERC20 converter launches, oh man, it's immediately going to start taking, market share and value from Ethereum. And, it could be, not that Cardano can't be a lot higher in the future, but I think it's just one of those coins that the marketing and the narrative is so strong, it's going to be, primed for those, pumps and dumps and, much like a lot of cryptocurrencies are. But I enjoy watching it and, keeping tabs on it. And I own a little bit of Cardano, full disclosure.
Yeah. Yeah, we hold quite a bit of Cardano, and that's actually that was actually a really good point you said there of it being priced as if it's already launched, it's already working, it's already an ecosystem, and I would agree with that. People do treat it as if it's very similar to Ethereum as far as like what it's actually done, when in reality it's still way behind it in actual use case and projects being built on it, which, as you also mentioned, doesn't necessarily matter. A lot of it is marketing and speculation and things like that. But we saw in a survey yesterday that most millennials, when they were surveyed that were invested in Bitcoin, they like Bitcoin, but then the next thing, like overwhelming majority of people were very bullish on Cardano in the future. It's something we're already seeing. It's already up 18x on the year. You know, it's been flat since the mainnet launch. But Jebb, I was going to ask you, do you feel like it's getting overvalued and overhyped based on what they delivered, or do you still think it's got a lot of room to run? I mean, at one point people were talking $8 to $10 price points by the end of the year. Do you think that's possible for Cardano?
I think it's possible, but it's going to have to be dependent on whatever happens on Bitcoin. Guys, Bitcoin leads the cryptocurrency space, so whatever you think your altcoin is going to do has to be in accordance with whatever Bitcoin is doing. If Bitcoin doesn't start moving to the upside, then there's not a great argument to be made for an $8 to $10 Cardano. That being said, I do think that we are going to see bullishness on Bitcoin, so I think there is opportunity in Cardano alongside Bitcoin. Now, as far as the question, as far as it being overpriced, I think if you're going to make the argument that that Cardano is overpriced, then we also have to make the argument that Bitcoin and Ethereum are overpriced, because neither of them are really anywhere near the kind of adoption levels that we think that they're eventually going to be. One country is using Bitcoin. Now, that is an inflection point. I talked about one time I was on the show here how that is going to go down in a history textbook one day, and we need to be paying attention to that. But we just haven't seen everybody start adopting Bitcoin, right? We're here, early stages, only 13 years into this industry. A lot of what we are investing in is speculation. So no, I don't think that Cardano is overvalued, considering that the entire cryptocurrency industry right now is built partially on speculation and partially on fundamentals. But I think the key that people need to keep in mind is that no matter where Cardano is now, where it is going looks very, very bullish. Ben, you talked about this on Tuesday. You talked about how Cardano has a window of opportunity over the next 2 years. As Ethereum 2.0 is being delayed, Cardano needs to launch a lot of these things. It needs to launch Alonzo 2.0. It needs to get these smart contracts rolled out. It needs to develop its infrastructure. And as it does that, it is going to start moving more from speculation-based price into fundamental-based price. And that's really important, because I think personally, Cardano trading sideways over the last 6 months is actually one of the healthiest things that it could have done. Cardano doesn't have a ton of use cases right now. It's starting to go online in Ethiopia and other African nations, and its smart contracts are starting to roll out, but it just doesn't have the kind of use case right now. Now, I'm not talking about the future. You guys know I love Cardano, but right now, it doesn't have the immediate bullishness that you might expect to drive it to $8 to $10. So it consolidating for the last 6 months, building super strong support at $1 to $2, I think is going to lead to a large rally with a strong foundation, and it's going to play a pivotal role in the longevity of Cardano and its ecosystem. And guys, you got to remember, there's always going to be more than one power player in an ecosystem. It's not just Apple that makes smartphones, and it's not just Intel that makes CPUs. There's always going to be competition between smart contracts platforms. Cardano right now looks like the biggest of the contenders to Ethereum. So even if Cardano only ever ends up being number 2 to Ethereum's number 1, Ethereum's probably going to be worth $10 trillion one day if it manages to get Ethereum 2.0 launched and start dealing with these gas fees and transactional throughput. If Cardano does have a destiny to stay number 2 to Ethereum, it's still probably going to be worth 50 times what it's worth right now. So for anyone looking for a great cryptocurrency to invest in, keep in mind that cryptocurrency as a whole is a sector with different industries inside of it. You have cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and then you have crypto platforms like Ethereum, Polkadot, ADA, and several others. Cardano is primed to be at least number 2 in that major industry in the cryptocurrency sector, and you're not going to want to miss out on it.
Yeah, that was a great breakdown right there. So, all right, let's move it. Let's move on to the last topic here. Talk a little bit about Marc Cuban and the rug pull scam that he experienced. Or that's my opinion of it, what I think happened. But I'm going to hear from you guys what your take on it is, because basically we've got this project, Iron Finance, that Iron Finance, that more or less they have a stable coin called Iron, and their main token was, or their governance token was called Titan. And more or less what the team is saying is they've experienced the first run on the bank, so to speak, of a crypto project, which this definitely wouldn't be the first time we've experienced this if you've been around for a while, especially last summer. But more or less they're saying some big whales and some big market participants in their ecosystem all tried to sell their governance token Titan for the stablecoin Iron all at once, which caused a flash crash, basically took the token price almost effectively, I think 98% drop or something ridiculous like that. More or less brought it down to zero. People were panic selling. People were blaming Marc Cuban for this, saying he was one of those whales that was causing this dump to happen. He took to Twitter to come out and say, no, I got dumped on just like everybody else. He said I got out. He didn't really say how much or when, but I also got hit like everybody else. So it was kind of hard to understand what he was saying. My interpretation was I think he was trying to sell as much of his tokens as he could before the liquidity ran out, and then he realized, oh, wait a minute, there's no liquidity. I can't sell anymore. What the heck just happened? So I'll start with you, Ben. I know you felt what it feels like to be to have a rug pulled out from under you before, especially last summer. So they're claiming it's not a rug pull. It was just a bad model or an unfortunate circumstance. But what I say is, like, if it looks like a rug pull, smells like a rug pull, feels like a rug pull, probably is. But what's your take on that?
Literally every single project in history that went to zero that said they weren't a rug pull was a rug pull. Literally all of them. Literally all. So yeah, it's a rug pull for sure. Don't dice words around that. It basically, the way this usually works is it takes a few days for these guys to kind of disappear. For some reason, the people that do the rug pulls usually, I think it's because they've got like enough bravado mixed with like ignorance to where they think it's kind of like this. You ever known like a real hardcore drug addict, like somebody who really has a lot of problems, like maybe somebody in your family, and every single time, it was me one time.
I was just saying that sounded a little personal. I don't know if you were directing that at anybody.
No,
I didn't think.
Well, no, I mean, many years ago, I had a lot of problems, but got all those fixed. But the thing is that if you know somebody like that, and I can speak from experience, every time there's a family gathering, they got that different excuse. And it's like, they really believe that this time you're going to believe that they actually like had a flat tire or their grandma died for the 7th time or whatever it is. Like, they really believe it when they tell it to you. And that's what I think a lot of these people do that do these rug pulls. Like, they really think they're going to tell you like, oh no, it was just a problem with the protocol and this one, and we'll recover the project, do this, blah, 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 blah. And every time it's a scam. And it takes a while for them to kind of come to that realization that nobody's going to believe what they said. And then they finally disappear for good, and you don't hear from them. War on rugs, like it happened 2 or 3 times where they finally actually pulled the plug and did the exit scam, the irony, I know. But so that's what's going on here. I mean, it's clearly a rug pull, clearly a scam from the top, and Marc Cuban fell for it. And look, like, it's part of a strategy. Like somebody said in the chat this morning, like people like Marc Cuban aren't afraid to take risks. I believe that. We've taken a lot of risk here on the channel as well. It is part of crypto getting wrecked. I think we can probably all safely say, everybody on this channel, that at some point you made a decision with your crypto that was very risky, that worked out great, and then another time you did something risky that worked out terribly. So it's just all part of the game. You got to average it into your strategy.
Yeah, that's very true. Like you said, it's different risk for different rewards for every single asset, and you got to take it case by case. So has anybody else on the panel, Jebb, Mitch, Aaron, any of you guys can jump in, have any of you done any yield farming in the past? No.
Not for me, not
go
a
ahead.
lot. CryptoJebb, yeah.
Go ahead, Mitch. I believe in you. You can do it.
Yeah,
Take it away, man.
Me personally, I haven't done a lot for the same reason. I see, if you go on to CoinMarketCap and you hit yield farming and you look at which ones are actually providing the highest yield, it's just crazy to look at it. Some of them are like 32,000% APY, and they have $3,500 locked up in them.
Yeah.
And to me, that's an advertisement for PancakeSwap. That's not actually a pool that someone could get into. So I've got friends that do really, really well with it. And yeah, first and foremost, like, we're having a laugh and smiling about Marc Cuban losing a bunch of money, but I don't like hearing about anyone losing a bunch of money. I know that some of my customers were involved in this and they're feeling it. And yeah, my heart goes out to all of you who may have lost money in this rug pull. But yeah, I'm definitely with Bennett. It seems like it's a rug pull, and a lot of the times it's like that logic of you keep telling the market that it's not a rug pull, it's not a rug pull, and eventually you get there. It's the same as when you have a child and they draw on the wall, and you're like, did you draw on the wall? And they're holding the crayon, and they're like, no, I didn't draw on the wall. And you're like, well, I'm an adult, and I've kind of done this before and figured out that you know, holding the crayon, they're basically, in their words, you can tell that they're lying and that they've actually done this, and it's only a matter of time before the lies compound so much. And that's what you're talking about with the drug addicts, right, Ben? The lies compound so much, and you only have 2 grandmas. So when after grandma number 3 and 4 and 5, you start to realize they're full of shit. So
right.
yeah, I kind of steer clear of it for the reason I'm really big on staking. I'm really big on having a small portion, you know, 10-20% of my holdings on a platform like BlockFi or Nexo, in order to get, you know, between 5 and 12% APY, as well as staking projects like ARK and what will be Ethereum eventually. But yeah, the yield farming side of things I haven't really touched. How about you, Jebb?
Yeah, so I haven't done a lot in yield farming, just because I am the kind of guy I like to I'm a very big investor. I hold and I wait. Now, the big thing that I love about this show, guys, and for everyone watching this is literally what we stand for over on our channel, what I'm about to say here. That one of the biggest things I love about this show is that it is constantly, from every single panelist who comes on here, including everyone here today, it is constantly reiterating the importance of self-development, growth, and education. And right now, we have just seen that the gods of Twitter and cryptocurrency, Elon Musk and Marc Cuban, and all these people that we're talking about so much are not perfect. And I think this is a critical reminder for us to remember that just because Elon Musk says something, just because Marc Cuban says something, and just because one of them does something, does not mean that we should blindly follow them. Intel used to have a saying, it said, copy exactly. And then Intel realized, wait a second, when we copy systems exactly, and we copy products exactly, and we copy all these things exactly, we are not taking into account the context of our own situation. So they changed their phrase from copy exactly to copy intelligently. I am encouraging everybody who is watching this stream right now to not copy exactly. I'm encouraging you to copy intelligently. And that is where all these lessons that we have coming in with self-education and development and learning technical and fundamental analysis and investing and trading and all of these things and dollar cost averaging and watching and learning from so many different opinions, which is why I love this show. That is what's really important here. Yes, the rug got pulled, and that sucks. I am really sorry for anyone who was involved with that. I'm really sorry for anyone who lost money in that. Here's what I want to tell you. Number one, if you have just lost a lot of money in an event like this, the best thing you can do for yourself is take 2 or 3 days, tune out of cryptocurrency. This is probably the only time you'll ever hear a crypto YouTuber say this, but turn the video off, get away from crypto for a couple of days, let the emotions calm down, because it's very easy to make bad decisions when you're emotional, and you don't want to do that. It's going to get you even more wrecked. I can almost guarantee you that. I've been there. I've lost a lot of money making that mistake, and I don't want you doing the same. But I really want people to realize Elon Musk, Marc Cuban, they are these gigantic powers that seem way above us, but that does not mean they're perfect. Elon Musk can lose money on Bitcoin and a cryptocurrency. So can Marc Cuban. This can happen to anyone. And the only thing that differentiates us from the people that continually lose money is that we take self-education and self-improvement and learning and self-development very seriously. And that's why you come and watch this show every single day. So hit that like button.
Yeah, no, that was really good, and it's very true too. Like, a lot of what we talk about, a lot of what we preach is learning, education, doing your own research. And I think Marc Cuban even said the same thing. Like, we were talking about, you know, getting wrecked being a rite of passage, and we were able to laugh about losing a little bit of money and stuff. But like you said, if we did it over and over, it wouldn't be funny. It would just be stupid. But we do it. We learn from our mistakes, and we take different actions in the future. And I feel like he said pretty much the same thing. Like, this was a live and learn moment, kind of a rite of passage into crypto. And as everybody said, like, time somebody loses money, our heart goes out to them. Like, we know it doesn't feel great. It is easy to lose track of your emotions and, you know, make rash decisions, especially after something bad has happened. So I wanted to ask Aaron, like, if you have any advice for people at home, like, if you were involved in this, and, you know, like Marc Cuban said, this is a live and learn moment. Is this like just buyer beware in the future? I think Mitch made it pretty clear. Like, if you see something with 3,200% APY, it's probably not going to pan out that well. But, like, just for anybody else at home, like, what is a piece of advice to kind of assess this market and take a long-term approach like you guys do on your channel?
Thank you. First of all, what CryptoJebb said, and everybody, man, you guys are really smart. I'm happy to be on a panel with so many smart people. I might have to subscribe to CryptoJebb. Let me know in the chat if I should subscribe.
Might have to subscribe to you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And but like regarding what you said with Marc Cuban, yeah, I mean it's easy to make fun of Marc Cuban, but you know my thoughts and prayers go out to him. He did say he lost a lot of money. I looked it up. He's only worth 4.4 billion now. So you know,
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
But anyway, no, I actually do empathize with him, and I actually think you know it just reminded me because he just wrote this huge blog post, a public blog, like a few days ago, talking about the benefits of DeFi, and he mentioned Aave, and he mentioned Matic, and he mentioned Titan specifically. And so I just thought that was kind of funny because as YouTubers and people who constantly comment on the market every day, it's, you know, are just used to saying something, then the information or situation changes, then you look kind of foolish. So, but, you know, all in all, I think Marc Cuban is still a titan of the industry. And actually, as far as advice goes, I mean, I just think this reminds me that we're still in the wild, wild west in cryptocurrency. And there's a lot of opportunity for reward, but there's also a lot of risk. I mean, it's like being in the, you know, late 90s in the internet, I think. And, you know, like today, we can obviously say, yeah, invest in the Amazons, invest in the Googles, invest in the Apples. That's obvious. You know, back then it wasn't so obvious. And I think that's exciting to be part of this. And the fact that all of us are, you know, if they make a documentary based on public information and videos in the future, they're sure going to be using a BitBoy video. They're sure going to be using an Altcoin Daily video. They're sure going to be using CryptoJebb or Sanders, you know, all of us. So I think it's exciting to be a part of this and, you know, be commentators throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. It is
I think one thing to keep in. Go ahead, TJ. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's exciting to be on the forefront of all this stuff in Bitcoin, and it definitely is something that has major impact on the entire world, and it's a fun industry to follow, and we are literally at the very front of it and kind of leading that charge in. I know Ben and I were talking about that with him going to Texas not that long ago, now potentially another state to talk to some state representatives. Like, we are, all of us here on this group, on this panel, on this channel, we are the people leading that charge, like you said, commenting on it every single day. And I wanted to kind of, speaking of Marc Cuban being a leader in the industry, and, you know, the last question I have on this topic I want to throw out to you guys, he's now calling for stronger regulation for stable coins. So I wanted to hear from you, Ben, like, do you think, you know, what's your opinion on more regulation and that being his answer for losing money?
Well, I got to mince my words here. Got to be careful what I say. I mean, look, it's common reaction, right? You something happens, you make a big mistake, and you blame something else for it. Guys, Aave and Titan should never be mentioned in the same sentence. Yeah. Okay. And this is why, look, we laugh, we have a good, you know, we talk about some of this stuff. And like TJ says, because we look back on our experience and we look back at the times that we got rug pulled or my disasters with yield farming, trying that stuff out. Why was I yield farming? Number one, because I was a degenerate. Number two, doing it for content. And I got super wrecked, you know, yield farming for content. It was not great. We got constantly in situations where bad situations where there was no good decision, like to pull out, not to pull out, yada, yada, yada. But we look back on that and we're like, oh, wow, that was an interesting time in my journey. And that's where the laughing comes. We're laughing at ourselves being at that point at one time. But look, you're a new person to crypto who just came in yesterday, unless they came from TikTok, someone shilling Titan and they just, you know, whatever. Like, I never even heard of Titan. There's a reason why Titan, I think Iron Coin it's called, there's a reason why those are the number 2 most trending coins searched for, you know, today, according to Sentiment. It's because nobody knows what the heck they are, right? Like if this was Cardano, like, you know, people would have to search to know what it is. Like, it's Cardano. It's because nobody knows what the heck this thing is. And so the people that are getting invested in this stuff, they're already to a certain level of, we say degen, they're at a certain level of crypto most likely to where they should have understood this was a risk.
Right.
That's why, you know, I feel, to be honest with you, like, I feel very sorry for the new person, like the guy who messaged me today on LinkedIn and said, hey, you know, I see another YouTuber on your channel all the time. He contacted me and on Telegram, and I invested, you know, thousands of dollars with him, and now he's not responding to me. What's going on? And I was like, yeah, like, that's not him. And he was like, well, that was on his YouTube video. There was an ad for it. I was like, yeah, it's because YouTube's negligent and they put scam ads in all of our videos. I feel much sorrier for the person that absolutely gets tricked and is like, has no clue what they're doing than the person that should understand the risk of getting into a very low level coin. And the fact that Marc Cuban putting Titan and Aave in the same sentence showed he was in well over his head with it too. I don't know who was in his ear. I guarantee you someone was in his ear, which, by the way, funny enough, did you see who contacted us today, TJ, about doing a promotion?
No, don't tell me it was Titan.
Ethereum Max
today.
Ethereum Max contacted me from promotion, and they sent it to my agent, and her name's Heather, and Heather sent us the email, me and TJ, and said, interested? I just responded, no, LOL. No, LOL. That's it. We just slammed them yesterday on the show. Look, here's the thing. I don't know why in the world this Titan became so popular or important to Marc Cuban, but it had to be somebody in his ear giving him bad information. But with a platform like Marc Cuban has, throwing out a small coin like that and not exposing the risk to come along with it, I think that's the bigger mistake that he made. And I think he's feeling probably this thing of like, we need more regulation. It's not coming from a place of, I lost money, we need more regulation. It could be coming from a place of like, he's getting raked over the coals by maybe people that got into it because he was.
Yeah, well, he might. Hopefully, maybe he's feeling a stronger sense of responsibility because, like you said, with that article, that would roll it into with Aave and some of these other top DeFi projects.
Yeah.
And then he throws in something else that he knows he's heavily invested in. I mean, like you said, it seems like pumping bags and probably very unintentionally. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't have any
course.
It
just comes. It just comes from a place of probably, I hope, not understanding the responsibility. Like, he hasn't had anything like this that's happened where it was a literal scam that he was promoting or talking about, whether it was paid or not paid or he was invested, or we know he was invested at least. But hopefully this will be a wake up. And look, we went through over the summer. I mean, we did some, there was a project that we worked with that rug pulled, and they did a smart contract. And they literally changed the smart contract after our video. So it did have a backdoor in it. We didn't know. There's no way we could, but we learned from that, like, don't work with anonymous teams. There are a lot of red flags to pick up. Like, so, hopefully he'll do the same thing. And, like, it's big to, admit fault, admit mistakes, not necessarily blame other people for it. And I hope he does that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the topics we have for today and all the time we've got left. It looks like we've got Ben Armstrong with the top score.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a rare win for the guy in the top left corner. So you got 30 seconds. Take it away. Eat my shorts. I just read your sign. You just muted yourself, I think, when you picked it up. I don't know if it's... Bum, bum, bum. Wait, I got some sound somewhere.
Whoopee!
Yeah, you're back.
All right,
try again.
30 seconds.
Yeah, get your 30 seconds, man.
Guys, thank you so much for watching the show. You guys know, like, YouTube has definitely put the kibosh on us lately on our recommended. The people watching these videos are our hardcore, not hardcore subscribers, our hardcore followers, and we love and we appreciate you guys so much. But regardless of the views on these videos or how much YouTube is pushing them, like, this show is the best show on YouTube because you're getting perspectives from people that have been where you've been and are going where you want to go. And we understand the full gamut, and you get a lot of different perspectives. And Jebb and Aaron from Altcoin Daily and Mitch, I mean, these are all obviously great people. Go subscribe to their channels. We have people on the show every day that really know what they're talking about. And this is where you're going to really get the well-rounded view of what's going in crypto. So, appreciate everybody watching this channel. We love the BitSquad, biggest community in crypto. Love you.
Yeah, like you said, greatest community in crypto. And as always, thank you for all the guests for joining us today. The links to all their channels are in the description below. So if you guys could go over to those channels, show them that BitSquad love, give them a like, give them a subscribe. I know they'd really appreciate it. And like Ben mentioned,
and subscribe to BitBoy.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
If you're not already subscribed to our channel, please, we could really use it too. We'd really appreciate it. And like Ben mentioned, they all have really good perspectives, so you'll learn a lot, and you'll do what Jebb was talking about: develop yourself personally and grow, which is what we're all about. So we'll see you guys tomorrow back here at 5 o'clock Eastern time. But that's all we have today. We're out.
Woohoo!